Hello and welcome to the news at 5. I'm Olumide Macaulay. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has officially registered as a member of the African Democratic Congress in Adamawa State, signaling a major development in Nigeria's opposition politics ahead of the 2027 general elections. He disclosed this in a short post on his official X handle on Monday, today, attaching pictures of himself holding the party's membership card with the brief caption, "It's official." Prior to him joining the coalition, the former vice president had been a high-profile member of the PDP. He, however, resigned from the party on July 16th, citing irreconcilable differences that have emerged within the former ruling party. The National Assembly Joint Committee on Constitution Review is to meet with state governors on Wednesday, 26th November, to conclude deliberations on the Constitution Amendment. Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mr. Benjamin Kalu, stated this at a retreat organized by members of the committees of the Senate and House of Representatives in Abuja. Several amendments, including citizenship by investment, special seats for women, state police, are being considered. Our correspondent Terry Kumi reports.
The Committees on Constitution Review of the House of Representatives and the Senate, in collaboration with the Policy and Legal Advocacy Center, hold a final retreat as the Constitution Amendment process approaches its climax. After 6 zonal public hearings conducted with contributions from various stakeholders, the proposed amendments are almost ready to be voted on by Parliament for onwards transmission to the State Houses of Assembly for 2/3 concurrence on each of the amendment bills.
People yearn for reforms that will carry out the following. 1. Devolve power and bring governance closer to the grassroots. 2. Localize internal security through innovative approaches like state police. 3. Empower their voices through credible election. 4. Ensure fiscal federalism and equitable resource distribution. 5. Protect the rights and dignity of every citizen, regardless of gender, ethnicity, or religion. And 6, guarantee local government autonomy so that development reaches the last community.
The Deputy Speaker, who is also the Chairman of the House Committee on Constitution Review, also outlines the next step as the voting process approaches.
The amendment we agree upon today will shape Nigerian democracy for generations to come. Permit me also to inform this distinguished gathering that, in keeping with our commitment to intergovernmental partnership, all governors of the Federation will be formally briefed on Wednesday, 26 November 2025. Distinguished colleagues, the Constitution we seek to refine is the soul of our republic.
The 10th National Assembly has ensured the inclusion of state assemblies throughout the review process for better understanding of every constitution amendment bill for a seamless concurrence.
It will also offer them the opportunity, that is, the speakers of the State House of Assembly, to offer them the opportunity to make observations and input before we present our report to the plenary and before the bills that meet the threshold of Section 9 of the Constitution are transmitted to them. So we want them to have all this beforehand so that we have a similar process when it goes to the assemblies of the sub-nationals.
For us at the Conference of Speakers, this retreat offers an opportunity to further appreciate the intention, objectives, and constitutional implication behind the proposed amendments. It affords us with the clarity needed to effectively communicate and guide deliberations in our respective houses of assemblies.
The rest of the retreat continues behind closed doors for the presentation and consideration of reports by various subcommittees. Terry Ikumi, Channels Television News.
The United States government has affirmed its readiness to deepen security cooperation with Nigeria, including provision of enhanced intelligence support, defense equipment, and articles to reinforce ongoing operations against terrorists and violent extremist groups in the country. According to the presidency, this follows discussions and engagements held last week between a high-level Nigerian delegation and U.S. officials aimed at strengthening security partnerships between both countries and open new avenues for cooperation. In a statement issued today by the Special Advisor to President Tinubu on Information and Strategy, Mr. Bayo Nanuga, during the engagement in Washington, D.C., the Nigerian delegation refuted allegations of genocide in Nigeria, emphasizing that violent attacks affect families and communities across religious and ethnic lines. The statement also adds that both countries agreed to implement immediately a non-binding cooperation framework and to establish a joint working group to ensure a unified and coordinated approach to the agreed areas of cooperation. The delegation, led by the National Security Advisor, had met with senior officials across the U.S. Congress, the White House Faith Office, the State Department, the National Security Council, and the Department of War. Members of the delegation included the Attorney General of the Federation, the Chief of Defense Staff, the Chief of Defense Intelligence, as well as the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Kade Gwetuku, and two representatives of the Office of the National Security Advisor. The Nigeria Labour Congress has condemned the recent wave of attacks and kidnappings of school children and teachers across some states in northern Nigeria. President of the NLC, who described the new surge of violent attacks as a smokescreen and a strategy of depopulation and plundering of national resources, urges Nigerian workers to organize better and challenge the status quo. He was speaking at the 2025 annual Harmattan Conference of the NLC in Abuja.
It's the annual conference of the Nigerian Labour Congress, and for this year, the focus is on protecting workers' rights. The annual Harmattan School is a conference of the NLC leadership and affiliate unions, where participants are prepared to respond to matters affecting their rights as workers.
The right to freedom of association, the right to collective bargaining, the right to non-discrimination, equal work for equal pay for equal work, work of equal value, the right to equality in the world of work. These developments call for renewed commitment to social dialogue.
The recent surge in kidnapping of teachers and school children in parts of northern Nigeria also took center stage.
We mourn the abduction of students and staff from major school in Kebbi, and the 350 students and staff of Catholic school in Niger State. This is not random banditry. It is a primitive accumulation drive for the 21st century. The chaos in smoke is a smokescreen, a strategy of depopulation and terror to clear the land for capital plunder. The reign of anarchy has become prevalent, and if not resisted and decimated, nobody is sure of what the end game will be.
In a similar vein, the president of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, says the education sector is under severe attacks and calls for continued determination of all workers to resist those attacks.
Education is under attack. It's under attack by bandits in the bush and bandits in their government houses, mansions in city centers. So while the bandits are attacking and killing us instantly, our leaders are attacking and killing education instrumentally. And so we would continue with our commitment to fight for education in Nigeria, to prioritize education in Nigeria is unshakable.
For the next 5 days, these workers will lock themselves up here as they brainstorm on a better approach to addressing issues that infringe on the rights of Nigerian workers and propose solutions.
The Zamfara state government says it's not considering shutting down schools in spite of rising insecurity across parts of the country. State government will be introducing measures to protect learning centers and ensure pupils and students attend classes without fear of bandit attacks. Now, the State Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Wadatau Madawaki, stated this while addressing journalists in Gusau, the state capital.
The security of the schools, the security of the children, the security of the students is well taken care of. We are in contact with all the security agencies, and they are giving us all the necessary support that we are asking for to ensure that as our schools continue to operate without any hindrance. So with that, we believe, inshallah, there will be nothing that will happen, and our education will continue to flourish as we continue until the end of this term. We are yet to continue with our boarding system. So our schools are being operated in the daytime, so it's day students. So I think those areas where we feel and we think that there's insecurity, we have closed the schools there already. But where we think there's a relevant peace, we have allowed our students to continue since the term is almost coming to an end. So allow the school term to run its course so that at the end, if there is any need for us to extend the holidays, we shall do that. But until then, we are still continuing with our schools.
Mainstreaming 10,000 learners from catch-up clubs into formal public schools, marking a renewed hope for thousands of indigent families and communities as a means of reducing the number of out-of-school children is a key priority of the Kaduna State government. In partnership with the Reaching Out of School project, UNICEF and Save the Children International, this program aims to bridge the learning gaps and improve financial literacy and numeracy across the state. At the official flag-off in Leah Primary School, Irigasa, in Negabi local government area, the deputy coordinator of the Reaching Out of School project, Hassan Abdul, says the program represents the administration's commitment to providing an opportunity for every child to access quality education.
The menace of out-of-school children has for many years remained a socio-economic problem in northern Nigeria due to many factors ranging from the Almajiri syndrome, child labor, cultural beliefs and poverty. In Kaduna, it is a significant milestone for basic education in the state, as thousands of children previously learning through catch-up clubs are now fully integrated into formal classrooms. The catch-up clubs were created by the administration of Governor Ubasani to support pupils who lagged behind due to limited access to quality learning, insecurity or interruptions caused by poverty. The aim is to integrate at least 200,000 children into formal basic education within the next 4 years.
Together, let us commit to future where every child, regardless of his background or circumstances, has access to quality, inclusive and equitable education. His Excellency Senator Dr. Ubasani has passion on education. That is why last year and this year budget, education took 25% and 26% respectively. Last year 25% and this year 26.6% to education. The reason for that is to ensure that each and every person in Kaduna State attend basic education.
The mainstreaming of 10,000 learners follows months of assessment to ensure they are academically ready to join their peers in public schools, as parents, beneficiaries, including persons with disabilities, applaud the initiative, describing it as a lifeline for children who were at risk of dropping out completely.
The program is streaming at least 10,000 learners across 9 LGS in Kaduna State. And it will continue to do that, hoping that in the next 3 years, we are going to bring all the children back to schools in Kaduna State.
We use this opportunity to address our people, to orientate our people, to bring them from inside house to come into school.
With the integration of 10,000 children into the formal school system, Kaduna State, under the leadership of Governor Ubasani, is taking bold steps to ensure no child is left behind, as he believes that sustained support will help the children thrive and contribute to the state's education development.
Justice Mohammed Umar of the Federal High Court Abuja has adjourned the trial of Senator Natasha Quota-Rohan for alleged cybercrime until February the 4th, 2026 for commencement of trial. Excuse me. The matter, which was fixed for Monday by Justice Mohammed Umar, could not proceed due to the judge's absence. It did not hold on October the 21st due to the protest organized by Mr. Amoyole Sowore, to demand the release of Nnamdi Kanu, who was recently convicted on terrorism offences. Justice Umar had on September the 22nd fixed October the 21st for the hearing after the trial was stalled owing to an objection raised by the defendant. Mrs. Akpoti Arohan was arraigned on June the 30th on a 6-count charge filed by the Director of Public Prosecution of the Federation, Mohammed Abubakar. She was granted bail, following which Justice Umar adjourned till September 22nd for the commencement of the trial. The Rural Electrification Agency has held a groundbreaking ceremony for the National Public Sector Solarization Initiative of President Tinubu as captured in the 2025 budget. The ceremony, which held at the Bayero University, Kanu, where the agency plans to leverage the initiative to revive the existing 3.5 megawatt renewable energy system deployed in 2019. Our correspondent Nanchin Vincent reports.
Following a knowledge-driven technical assessment of the Bayero University Kanu mini-grid, originally deployed under the Energizing Education Program, Phase 1, the facility is now undergoing a major upgrade to 6 megawatts. The upgrade includes the adoption of latest generation lithium battery systems, expansion of PV panels, and the construction of a new 1.5 megawatts renewable energy power plant under the National Public Sector Solarization Initiative of President Bola Tinubu, supervised by the Rural Electrification Agency. The managing director of the Rural Electrification Agency expressed optimism that the upgrades will provide more reliable power to both the university and the orthopedic hospital.
The Rural Electrification Agency is an agency under the Ministry of Power, and our responsibility is to bridge the electricity access gap in 2 ways. The first way is where there is no electricity, we take that electricity to those areas. Second is where there is unreliable supply, we ensure that those, we call them underserved, we enhance the reliability of the supply by deploying generation plants in those areas. One of these areas is here in this hospital.
The medical director of the National Orthopedic Hospital, Dala, applauds the solar installations, describing them as more reliable and sustainable compared to existing energy sources.
You can imagine running a 200 kVA generator 24 hours, 7 days in a week for a whole year. The diesel it will consume. So we requested for 200. And by the grace of God and through our MD, we have 1.5 megawatts of solar. So that alone is 7.5 times what we need for the solar. But for the rest of the hospital, the other part will go to the rest of the hospital. And what it means is that our diesel consumption will go down from 100% probably 10%. Our NEPA bills will go down from 15 million to probably 1 million. So we can never get, I will continue to thank the MD of the Rural Electrification Agency for coming to our aid at this time, and we assure you that we judiciously utilize what you have given us.
The solar installations are expected to improve efficiency and productivity in public institutions, reduce running costs and carbon emissions, in addition to boosting technical capacity in Nigeria's renewable energy sector. From Kano Commercial City, Nanchin Vincent, Channels Television News.
The new climate change deal means different things to different people, different countries, different groups, regions, and even geopolitical zones. While it did not provide the adequate finance developing countries need to cope with the impact of climate change, it provides a just transition action, which is a recognition that the global move away from the fossil fuel will not abandon workers and frontline communities. Our correspondent Ayola Kazim reports.
Overcoming many setbacks, first the uncomfortable heat in the conference venue, then the security breach by the indigenous people into the restricted zone, This prompted a tightened security at COP30 and the fire that ended activities at the pavilions a day earlier than scheduled. The COP finally presents the world with the Brazilian concept of mutirão, the concept of a joint effort working together. For about 3 weeks, Belém was buzzing. First, the Leaders' Summit, where the Brazilian president declared that this is the cup of truth.
That I deeply regret.
The truth that comes out of COP30 is that Belém has left the world divided. But analysts believe this spurred momentum on key issues that will continue beyond the conference. COP30 was meant to be an implementation COP. That is according to the COP presidency. Negotiators were expected to pin down tools, indicators, and processes to turn aspirations into action.
Phase out fossil fuels.
88 countries pushed for a roadmap for a just transition away from fossil fuels in the final deal. This group wants a just, equitable, and fully financed transition away from fossil fuels, reflected in the text. This is where the use of language matters in the text. It is an essential response to the ambition gap. They did not get what they want. They made their feelings known during the closing plenary.
This is not a statement that we're asking to be put on the report. It's an objection.
For civil society groups, the Just Transition Mechanism stands as the major achievement of COP30. The Just Transition Mechanism, popularly known as the Belém Action Mechanism, or BAM, opens what is described as promising discussions on support for just transition pathways. That is a clear reference to additional grant-based finance and recognition of the barriers that prevent just transition efforts.
Ensuring that national structure, economic reality are also respected.
But it is a different case for adaptation finance. The obligations of developed countries to provide finance was lacking, and pushing the timelines to deliver the tripling of finance to 2035 is said to be a betrayal of vulnerable and impacted communities in the Global South.
This is not technical. This is about our survival.
In all, everyone has something to cheer or complain about in this deal, which brings attention to the COP process, because it is a multilateral process and there needs to be a consensus. Some say it gives incentives for lobbyists to stall the process. So the civil society groups are calling for more accountability, transparency, concrete outcomes, and not just what they describe as a cycle of dialogues, roadmaps, and reports in the process. From Belém, Brazil, Ayola Kasim, Channels Television News.
Welcome to Business News. It's a big week for dividend payouts in the Nigerian exchange as MTN, Nigeria, Seplat Energy, and Aradel are set to pay a combined 213.31 billion naira based on their 9-month 2025 results. Among this week's payers, Aradel offers the highest yield at 1.45%, followed by Seplat at 1.24% and MTN Nigeria at 1.08%. Last week, NGX Group, Berger, and Presco distributed a total of 12.08 billion in interim dividends. Analysts note that investors looking to grow return can reinvest these dividends into stocks with strong fundamentals and attractive yields, including MTN, Airtel, that is Airtel, Africa, Lafarge Africa, Unilever, UACN, NB, Zenith Bank, Jitco, and Aradel. A recent report by the Fate Institute highlights a remarkable trend in Nigeria's business landscape. Female-led small businesses are outpacing their peers in growth despite facing challenges like limited access to formal finance. To explain the findings, the director of the Fate Institute was on Business Morning to discuss what's driving this growth, the key insights from the report, and how policymakers and entrepreneurs can leverage these lessons to foster broader economic development.
What we find, though, in terms of growth is that female-led businesses are very agile and quick to adapt technology, and so able to access markets. And so that's one assumption for the growth that we're seeing this year. However, I think that what's a bit concerning for us, just looking at the numbers, is that the number of businesses, female-led businesses, actually dropped, and that again sort of speaks to some of the issues that exist within the ecosystem. the challenges that female-led businesses experience. The top 3 challenges that they cited were access to funding, which you just mentioned. There was energy, you know, and so when you look at these issues, you know, there are issues that exist for everyone, but female-led businesses tend to just experience it, you know, differently. And so for us, again, in terms of just recommendations and how do we navigate this going forward, is saying, can we begin to look at some of these gaps and intentionally begin to bridge those gaps? Because not only would it empower MSMEs, but it would also, you know, guide us on that path to industrialization, which is what we want to achieve and see. A woman might be qualified, but she would hold herself back and think, oh no, I still need to get more qualifications, I need to find this, I need to find that before I take that step, you know. So if we unpack that, there's actually a whole lot, you know, just within that topic alone.
And that's it on the news at 5. Thank you for watching. I'm Olumide Macaulay.